This is Gail, and I'm coming to you from Laconia Public Library. And I have some scary stories to tell you about that you can check out here at the library. Make sure you come while we're open and not at night, because things are different here at night. And you can come during the day to check out some spine-tingling stories from all ages. These stories are everything from young people's stories to older kids' stories, but adults might like them too. So take a bite and see what you savor with scary stories from the library. And in a couple of weeks, I will be storytelling some of those scary stories. It's not for younger kids that night, because they might jump and be really frightened, but not today. The younger stories will come first. I'll tell you about some that you could take out and read at your house, even if it's haunted. The first story to tell you about is Don't Push the Button, a Halloween Treat by Bill Cotter. There are a lot of Don't Push the Button stories. This creature right here always wants to push the button. Do you do things you're not told? You shouldn't. Let's find out. Does he push the button? Who knows? Ooh, that's a scary looking house. And he's going trick-or-treating. He doesn't want to go in the scary house. And there's a doorbell. But he's warning you, don't push the button. Will he push the button? What will happen? He really doesn't want you to push a button. Look what might be inside. You'll have to come and get Don't Push the Button, a Halloween Trick by Bill Cotter, and find out, does someone push the button? And what happens if they push the button? The next story is also for younger kids. Not babies, but younger kids. If you're a baby, you shouldn't be reading these. This story is called The Ghost Eye Tree. Maybe you can see The Ghost Eye Right There by Bill Martin Jr. and John Archambault. And it's about some kids having to go out on a scary, gloomy night to get some milk because they're all out and they have to go get it all the way across the dark woods. Two children don't want to go through the dark and scary woods. And the little boy loses his hat. And the sister says, "Don't be a fraidy cat." He says, "But I'm not. I'm not." And then he pushes his hat down farther on his head, and they keep on walking until the ghost eye tree. Will it get them? You won't know unless you're brave enough to read it. The next story is We're Going on a Goon Hunt. We read this for story time. There's the goon and there's the family. It's by Michael Rex. They're going to look for a goon, but they don't see that the goon is looking for them. There he is in the graveyard, running away, chasing them. Will he catch them? You have to read it to find out. He's in every picture. Will he catch them? Will another creature like Frankenstein catch them? No. Oh no. There's swamps and dark caves. Who will get them? I don't know. But you have to read. We're going on a goon hunt to find out. If you know We're Going on a Bear Hunt, that's like that story. The next story is scary but funny. How many of you know who Dracula is? Dracula had fangs and is generally a werewolf. This is a story about another kind of thing with fangs. It's called Giracula. Giracula. Like a giraffe, Dracula. And you can see he has fangs up at the top of his mouth. Has a cape too. Did you hear that? Did you hear that? Giracula is coming. See the bats and the giraffes, and the giraffes have such long necks. Good for bats to be biting. And after they bite one giraffe, he gets Dracula teeth, and he becomes a Dracula. We'll see what happens if you meet up with Giracula and his fangs, I wonder if he eats scary things or if he just likes cupcakes. You'll have to read it to find out. This is the time in the book talks when little kids should not listen. Take a moment to get your big kids in the room, because these are stories for 3rd or 4th graders and up to adults, because these stories are very, very terrifying. And one of them is also funny. That's this first one. My Big Fat Zombie Goldfish. Jurassic Carp. Oh my goodness, by Mo O'Hara. And this book also has pictures in it. And it's a story about brothers, one of which is a mad scientist. And he has a tank of slime and ooze. And the other one wants to save his creation. That's his creation, Jurassic Carp. This carp, you can see his face really well, is very scary. And it comes out of water. It's a dinosaur fish. And maybe it's here to stay. And what happens if they can't make it go back to being just a plain, ordinary fish? What happens if there's another one? Because this story is about transformation and experiments and things gone wrong. But it does have some funny parts too. My Big Fat Zombie Goldfish. Read it if you dare, or even if you want to scare. This is a good one. This next book won a famous award called the Newbery Award the year it was published. It's by Neil Gaiman, and it's called The Graveyard Book. Can you guess what it's about? It's not about taking cookies to Grandma. It's not about saying, "Oh, look at the poor people." It's about what happens in a graveyard at night, and to one boy who doesn't have a normal name. Nobody Owens is known to his friends as Bod, and he's a normal boy, except for he lives in a graveyard, and he's being raised and educated by ghosts, and none of them want him to be a normal boy. This one will chill you to your toes. The Graveyard Book by Neil Gaiman. Many of his stories are terrifying. The next story is one called The Big 1-0. And it's by Dean Pitchford. And I love this story. I recommend it all the time. If you like scary, this is a good book for you. But if you also like funny and stories about real kids that have real things happen, this is a good book for you. The scary part doesn't happen till the end, and it has a good ending. We also have this on CD, so you could listen to it. And if you look carefully at the picture of the birthday cake, you'll see some unusual decorations on it. The boy in the story is about to turn 2 digits from 9 to 10, 10. And he wants to have a really amazing birthday party with friends. The problem is, he doesn't have any friends. And he doesn't know how to get friends. But with a very simple plan, he comes up with a way to have friends, and the best 10-year-old scary birthday party of all time with a happy ending. The Big 1-0, you're gonna love it. The CD is also excellent. The voices on the CD are excellent. And now coming to the last few. This is the last one that's actually a whole story in one. It's called Scare Me. And it's a story about a bunch of kids who compete every year in their town's scary haunted house. And each group of kids has to create something scary in the haunted house. And the one with the most scary things, the team with the most scary things, wins. And these kids have always won. Until this year, when the house decides to compete back. And what happens when the house wants to scare everybody too? This is a great read. Don't read it at night. Scare Me. That's a wonderful story. Leave the lights on. And 3 more. These stories are all multiple stories inside. Some you may know, and some you may never have heard of before. This is a recipe book. It's called A Banquet for Hungry Ghosts. And it's by Ying Chang Compestine. Hungry ghosts? What do I mean by that? Every one of these stories is so scary. You may never eat again. I don't know. But you may also follow the recipes and cook these things and eat them. because you can. The stories have recipes right at the end of them. And even though they're very scary stories, the recipes for tea eggs or tofu with chili garlic sauce or long life noodles are things that taste delicious. Be careful what you wish for, because there's always a recipe for scare. This is not for the faint of heart, and this reads well to adults as well. Eat it before supper. Read it before supper. Enjoy it with any meal. Handle with Care. Frightening Stories by Joan Kahn. This book has so many scary things in it. I would suggest you don't read it all at once. I know these stories. Everything from The Witch's Vengeance to The Toy Killer to The Happy Brotherhood. This is a long, hard read. Again, read with care. Read with the lights on, not before bed. Handle with Care. Frightening stories. And the last recommendation for this season is one that many of you will know. Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark, collected by Alvin Schwartz. I think even scarier than Alvin Schwartz stories to tell in the dark, more stories to chill your bones, things like that. More scary than that is The Drawings by Stephen Gammell. His drawings give me goosebumps, and they're terrifying in a very, very effective way. You don't want to meet the things that are in this story. You don't want to be there when the thing shows up. You don't want to be there outside when there are 7-foot footprints there. Or wait until Martin comes home, because who knows what will happen when Martin comes home. Come and get them if you dare, but beware. Scary Stories to Tell You will be coming up soon.